Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folani. It's a Friday, and our guest is Dr. Tunji Abayomi, constitutional lawyer. Dr. Abayomi, as always, it's a delight to have you.
I think TVC will start to pay me huge money for writing me at my own cost.
Yeah, but there's a sense in which people identify with their own mediums. So thank you very much for always being there for us. And, you know, we want to touch on a subject. Some might have suspected it, having seen that, they've brought Dr. Abayomi. He's a constitutional lawyer now. What are they going to talk about? Yeah, I guess we're finally going to talk about it. We weren't really minded to talking about the whole matter of, Atiku's relentless pursuit of Tinubu's academic records. It has been dealt with by many other programs in our station, you know, in the evening belt, night belt. And what I mean by that is that there's so much passion, so much emotion behind this subject matter, especially on social media. In fact, there are those who have referred to the whole thing as reminding them a bit about Wole Soyinka's play. For people who are chronicling his plays, they say it was his 8th Madmen and Specialists. You know, so everybody and their dog has an opinion on this matter. But I suppose it's right. But the facts are what they are. Tinubu has been elected the president of this country. Yes, yes. He has been so declared by the Independent National Electoral Commission. And thank God for the country that we have. The decision has been handed down. If you're not satisfied with it, you are free to approach a higher, forum. And this has been done. That is to say, the Supreme Court is the next bus stop. Yes, yes. Now, we have you, so I'm not going to engage in any form, with any pretense of legalese at all. But we do know that you can't introduce any fresh matter at the Supreme Court. I've heard lawyers say it's a court of review more than a court of anything else. Yes. I'll leave all those details to you, sir. Now, the former vice president and presidential candidate of the opposition PDP, he's the person who has really gone all out. He's gone to America, he's gone to the president's former school, Chicago State University, seeking all sorts of material. People have described it as a fishing expedition, looking for what can be brought back on this. And I think the ultimate objective is to unseat President Tinubu, if that must be his objective. All sorts of people are also attaching themselves to it. So I thought our purpose this morning would be, well, maybe just look at it and what are the core issues? What exactly, apart from all the emotional noise going on out there, because you just need to look at comments to all these social media blogs, and you'll then be surprised at what is going on here. But maybe before we go, Prof, just a brief summary. We have a package on this to sort of refresh your memories as well.
The academic records of President Bola Tinubu 2 days ago to his political opponent Atiku Abubakar in line with an order of a United States court. Mr. Atiku, the presidential candidate of the opposition People's Democratic Party in Nigeria's 25th February election, had requested the document to back his allegation against President Bola Ahmed Tinubu of forging his Chicago State University certificate. The allegation of forgery was one of those dismissed by Nigeria's Presidential Election Court in the suit Atiku Abubakar filed to challenge the election of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Atiku Abubakar at his press conference has called on his Labour Party counterpart Peter Obi and the new Nigeria People's Party Rabiu Kwankwaso to join his quest for justice in the certificate saga involving President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
The price of liberty is eternal vigilance. They have put the country first in their firm commitment to unravel the truth and hold leaders accountable. This gives me the hope that we have worthy partners in the struggle to reclaim the country we call our home.
One of his lawyers who also spoke said they will tender their fresh evidence at the Supreme Court.
From decided authorities, the Supreme Court has held that they can accept a party to adduce fresh evidence as long as certain conditions are met.
Mr. Atiku, who came second in the presidential election, had challenged the victory of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in court, but lost as the Presidential Tribunal struck out his petition. The allegation of forgery was one of those dismissed by the Presidential Election Court. The presidential candidate of the PDP, Atiku Abubakar, has been silent since the Chicago State University released the certificate of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He, however, hinted at this media briefing that his fight with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will come to an end when the Supreme Court declare the final verdict. Habib Alawal, TVC News, Abuja.
All right, then. That's thanks to Bidalawa. And so here we have it. Now, as you know, Doctor, there's been all sorts of emotionalism. In fact, almost to the extent of recklessness, in anticipation, perhaps, of what might happen at the Supreme Court. Some have even gone as far on national television as saying that they have no confidence in the Chief Justice of the Federation and his court. They have no confidence on the judiciary in Nigeria to do that which is right. That is why I referenced Wole Soyinka's Madmen and Specialists at the beginning of the program.
If they have no confidence in the Nigerian judiciary, they can initiate their election petition in Illinois court.
This is where all of this is going.
What I mean? They can go to America like they did with regard to certificate and initiate their election petition. But the only problem is that decision there will not be binding in a sovereign country.
It won't. It
like
won't
Nigeria.
here. And
the judicial power of the Federation is vested in the Nigerian courts.
And you heard that gentleman, I don't know if he's a lawyer or not, that gentleman who was acting as an MC there, sort of reminding us that, again, looking at another hurdle, that the Supreme Court has already decided that it can, upon special circumstances, consider...
That's laughable in law. Very laughable. First and foremost, the Supreme Court will not take any evidence in an election petition case. I made that very clear. I was here before the tribunal decided, and I told you specifically how the tribunal would decide according to existing law. And they have decided just as I told you. I'm telling you now that it's an exercise in futility. The Supreme Court will not take any evidence and will not also review facts, evidence. It will decide, will review law. Look at the law. I can tell you that because it's not a trial court.
Exactly.
Now, let me just say something. I just think this is unfortunate, really, in my view, because if we run for the presidency in Nigeria, and you fail to achieve it, you become a notable personality depending on how you manage the consequences. I remember Tinubu said, let the process go on. If I lose, I'll go back to my house. That is a statesman.
Indeed.
Now, we now have a situation where you're not pursuing any objective, any principle, in spite of the sophistry of representation. You are pursuing Tinubu. But the truth is, Tinubu will be president. He's been elected by the majority of electors in Nigeria. He won election by almost 2 million compared to the second place. He's been defined as president by 5 justices of the Court of Appeal in a tribunal. And he will govern Nigeria and transform Nigeria and make this nation proud. That's what's going to happen.
Well,
the frustration that is displayed. Tinubu is not the problem of the losers, in my view. In my view, the problem of, for example, Vice President Atiku, as I see it, are basically 2. No president has been elected in Nigeria who has moved from one party to another. In the process of doing that, you lose energy, and you lose people, and you lose principle, and you lose regard. That's why no president so far in our democracy has been elected who is moving from one party to another. The second problem he has is President Olusegun Obasanjo's representation of him in his book. A lot of influencers in this nation are affected in their influence on that issue. With regard to Peter Obi, I think he has 2 problems. The East, that is his first problem. And the second one is the co-equal problem, moving from one political party to another. These are their problems. Tinubu is not their problem. But they think wrongly that Tinubu is their problem.
And why this is surprising to me a bit is because they are statesmen all. Atiku Abubakar is a statesman. Peter Obi is a statesman. Kwankwaso, they're all statesmen. These are people that you can, any way you look at it, these are Nigerian statesmen. These are Nigerian statesmen. But the way, especially Atiku Abubakar, the Waziri, Adamawa, has pursued this. It has been called fishing. It has been called a wild goose chase. Mr. Peter Obi has been making all sorts of insinuations. I've not heard very much from Mr. Kwakanso himself. He has been sort of reticent. But it's emotional, and it seems, as you said, Prof, aimed squarely at Bola Ahmed Tinubu. There's no subterfuge they haven't tried.
This thing began not just now. You started so much cacophony, negative cacophony against him before election.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
Part of everything that was done to diminish him, embarrass him, he emerged as president. As somebody said that nobody, I think it was one of the pastors who said, no human being has been so diminished publicly by different people for unjustly, who can still emerge as president. He emerged. And then you now went to tribunal, as you should have a right to do. Now the same tribunal you went to voluntarily is of no consequence. You have no confidence in that same tribunal. Now, a more disturbing...
Well, he did say he respects the decision, but that he doesn't accept it or something like that.
How can you not
some
accept?
Sort of,
how can you not accept
some sort of sophistry like that?
How can you not? But a more disturbing aspect of it is to misrepresent what happened in Chicago or in America. They forget that there's a difference between a wrong certificate and a forged certificate. There is a difference between a wrong certificate and a forged certificate. A forged certificate is a certificate that is intended, that is untrue, and is intended to achieve a benefit for you. It is untrue. The objective is untrue, and you intend it to achieve, for example...
And it is also based on a false premise.
Yes.
So...
As an example, I went to Ohio State University. The same time Bola Ahmed Tinubu was in America, I was doing my 3rd degree, 76 to 79. That same time, I got my Juris Doctor from University of Toledo. Now, assuming now, I didn't go to University of Toledo, and I presented, because in America, by law, you have to put up your certificate in your office. You have to display it. Assuming now that I didn't get a Juris Doctor, and I now put a certificate from University of Toledo that I have a Juris Doctor, that is a false certificate. A forged certificate.
I get you.
Assuming now my certificate is lost, and I printed one, and I put these different signatories to it. I do it myself, and I put it up. It is a wrong certificate, but it is not a false certificate.
It isn't a forgery.
Because I went to and I went to University of Toledo. If University of Toledo confirms that I went to University of Toledo, and I put a certificate that I went to, and it is not a certificate from University of Toledo. It is a wrong certificate, but it is not a forged certificate.
I mean,
because for the simple reason that it represented the truth that I went to University of Toledo. Error can come from different sources, but in law, before you can accuse a man of wrong, there are two principles you must establish. What is called actus reus, that is wrong action, and mens rea, which is wrong intention. If, for example, I make it and I went to University of Toledo, there's no wrong intention because I'm not representing what is not true. So, I'm only representing that I went to University of Toledo.
So what's the
just wasting time?
So all the song and dance. What is all of that about? As I heard someone ask, how do you go about forging that which you already have? Anyhow,
a man.
You know,
if we see the
because forgery was what Atiku Abubakar took to the US.
Talking about. If we see the transcript, even from the standpoint of common sense, if we see the transcript, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is what you call all A's as professor, one of my
honor student.
But one of Nigeria's most distinguished scholars, Professor Adekola, was discussing with me just 2 days ago. Is what we call an all-state student. He went to Ohio State University. I was in Ohio State University for my first and second degrees. Now, if we look at his transcript, he got 18 A's. 18 A's, 10 B's, and 3 C's.
So what are you forging? What is the allegation of being forging?
Is it the type of man who will forge a certificate? A man who got 18 A's among... Now, keep in mind, as at the time he was in that school, he must be one of the oldest, if not the oldest student in his class. In 1979, I was finishing my 3rd degree. When he was getting his 1st degree, he would be about the oldest student, and still he got 18 A's and 10 B's. Instead of us to celebrate him, as that university celebrates him, as the world should celebrate him, we are going about diminishing the president of Nigeria very carelessly and making wrong representation that, oh, he forged this, he forged that, he forged this. Forged for what?
You know, as I said, it's, and then they're covering all of this. You need to see the passion with which other lawyers are pursuing the case as if there is some wrongdoing. Yeah. But just generally covering the whole thing up, there are some questions that they're asking that, for instance, they've said, well, let me not delay our Comrade Christopher, who has come online. Good morning, Comrade Christopher.
Good morning, Okoyori.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for calling in.
And good morning to your guests in the studio.
Sure.
Good morning.
This is Comrade Christopher calling from Warri Delta State.
Okay.
Coordinator Tinubu Shetima for Good Governance.
Okay.
Okoyori, for some time now, I have been watching the proceeding in the U.S., trying to find out what Atiku and co want to achieve from their suit in the U.S. Okuyori, I wonder whether if United States of America is the one fathering Nigeria in the electoral process when appeal court has given its verdict. Again, I want to beg on behalf of those lawyers, on behalf of Atiku Abubakar, that may Almighty God forgive those lawyers who have turned Atiku to ATM machine in cashing out their money every day. Because
please just stay on the points, please. Let's stay on the material facts.
Atiku Abubakar is just trying to chase shadow for where there is no shadow. Tinubu, we know, won this election squarely. And turning Atiku to ATM machine, it will never give them the verdict they want. All we are playing for now is good governance.
Okay.
That Tinubu is all about.
Okay.
And I want to beg all Nigerians to stood behind this man so that whatever hardship that we are passing through now, the gains after the hardship, Nigerians will reap it.
Okay, well...
The other subsidy is gone.
Indeed.
Tinubu should...
Thank you very much, Comrade Christopher. But I would like for us to, I'd like to appeal to you to stay on the issues. I don't think anybody turned statesman Atiku Abubakar into an ATM machine. He would brief the lawyers. A lawyer can't go ahead if he hasn't been briefed.
Yeah, exactly.
So he says that it doesn't matter what it will take.
Yes.
I have the wherewithal to pursue this. It doesn't matter how warped, lacking in substance the matter is. Go ahead and pursue it. Tell me your price. I will pay it. So it is, Waziri Adamawa who has the funds and is exercising his right. But what Christopher said at the beginning is, what is all of this about? And that's the question let me not say all. Most right-thinking members of society are asking. It's just this anti-Tinubu, Bola Ahmed Tinubu as a person, more than anything else.
But let us remember, it is Tinubu now. Remember how much they put into accusing him that he was convicted for drug.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they spent so much energy.
They've called him
and I said, what are you... I was here with you, Mr. Folani, saying that is nonsensical in law. You cannot be convicted without a trial. And without a conviction, there is no sentence. And I was saying, was this man ever tried? And I made it very clear. It was a civil process. I said it. The tribunal confirmed that same position. And if you look at it, they spent so much time. Did they not also spend so much time saying that Federal Capital Territory is a super state?
And all sorts of...
and we are talking
all sorts of Obonge lawyers lent their voice to
something so
fallacy.
elementarily nonsensical. You have so many lawyers talking about it.
The problem is Tinubu.
Yes,
more than
the problem
anything
is
else.
Tinubu now.
It's Tinubu
How can
as
you
a
be
person.
saying that the federal capital is more? We are talking of only election.
Naked...
And I was saying that it is a mere nomenclature. You are talking of electors.
Well,
you cannot have higher value for one election than another.
Fortunately, I don't know how much of this the president is watching. I hope none of it, because he's too busy for all of that. And busy with Nigeria. As he put it, this is a job that we asked for. Yes. And so we're not about to start complaining. Yes. Mr. George, good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Good morning, Uncle Yori. And good morning to the statesman sitting beside you. Uncle Yori, you describe some people as...
They are statesmen.
I don't understand the yardstick you use in that assessment. Because a statesman is determined by his conduct. If the conduct we are seeing by these people you are describing as statements, anything to go by, it will not be right for you to call them statements. I dare say. Uncle Yori, what is happening is something akin to a saying that those who live in glass houses should not throw stones. Mm-hmm. Some of us are not children. I'm in my middle 60s. Mm-hmm. There was this case of Halliburton. Mm-hmm. That case has not gone. There is this case of special purpose vehicles. Mm-hmm. That one has not gone. For someone that is involved in numerous allegations of fraud, to turn around and accuse another person that he has committed fraud when indeed there was nothing like that is laughable. Unknown to these people, they are making the president more popular. You can see that the president is not even saying anything. He's just going about his business, trying to salvage Nigeria. That was the same thing they did during the primaries. While he was going about how to get to the throne, others were busy on wrong paths. But we will get there. Nigeria will not be the way these people want us to be.
Indeed.
It is because somebody has come to say, no, let us do it in a better way. That's what is annoying them. And it will not come to stay in this country. Some of us will not allow them to have their way. The president should just be busy doing his work to make Nigeria better. And forget about this. I don't want to use some words here. Good morning.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Because we're ordinarily, in spite of their behavior, I understand Mr. George's criticism, but, you know, that is the way to look at these people, because you don't get to where they got to be representing political party and having millions of followers. Why will I not call Peter Obi a statesman? Why will I not call Waziri Adamawa a statesman? Why will I not call Tinubu a statesman? It's just that they also are human. And, you know, they're susceptible to mistakes. Sometimes, you know, disgraceful mistakes, but mistakes nevertheless. And I think the pursuit is that, look, let's throw enough mud, and some of it will stick. This is where Mr. George's, you know, comment comes in. Say, so, and you say statesman, what can I say? What else can I say now? So they're throwing mud and hoping that some of it will stick.
Running him down.
Yes.
But the point is that will not affect the work of God. We do as it is said.
And you see,
no more balance.
They're not embarrassing Tinubu. They are Nigerians.
Yes.
All these people
going abroad and talking anyhow about your own nation, diminishing and running down your own president, and the integrity of administration, electoral process,
and even the courts, the judiciary,
and the courts.
You're running everybody down.
Maybe they will choose another country. You understand what I mean? To live in. You know, I think one of them said if Tinubu wins the election, he will move out of.
You know, there's nothing.
He will go to another country.
There's nothing we haven't heard. You know, another statesman said that should Tinubu win this election, he was going to leave this country.
Yes, I said that's what I'm saying.
And then they went and asked him, say, sir, what happened? He said, nobody can send me out of this country. Oh, you now remember that you have a country. You have a country and you're not about to give it up.
Yes.
You know, stay with us, please. We'll take a break. We'll be right back and we'll continue taking your calls and looking at this situation that people don't really understand how commonsensical it really is. Welcome back. Dr. Tunji Abayomi, constitutional lawyer, is our guest. And we're looking at what our producers call Atiku's relentless pursuit of Tinubu's academic record. And there, the Waziri Adamawa, former Vice President Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, is seeking to determine that the president, you know, forged his certificate. And the question has already been asked about how do you forge that which you legitimately have anyhow, that which is you own, you have been awarded. There's a transcript to back it up. How do you forge all of that?
Confirmation from the university.
And a further confirmation from the university. So all of that is in this whole quest. I think if wishes were horses and beggars could ride, they want Tinubu to be, you know, vacated. Say, look, that's your election. Please come and go home.
No, there will be as far as they are concerned, there will be no peace in Nigeria until one of them is made president by all means.
It's not going to happen.
But Nigeria belongs to all of us.
Exactly.
And there is a law that determines how a president becomes president. And that law has been put into operation. And the consequence is the election of Tinubu and the swearing in. So,
we have heard that courts, and especially the Supreme Court, they don't operate by way of opinion. What is your public opinion? Is the law.
Bolaji Yusuf in the tribunal, he said, what do they want, that we should go and pick evidence from the streets or in the market? He said, that's not the way of the law. Or that they want to intimidate us with social media. That is not the way of the law.
And that's what's going on right now. All of these cases made on social media. Unfortunately, TV stations also pick up content from social media for their programming, and so it has migrated. But let me, sorry, sir, let me not keep Promise from Owerri waiting much longer. Good morning, Promise. Sorry for keeping you waiting.
Yeah, no problem. I've been listening with keen interest. Good morning, dear presenters and the guests in the studio.
Thank you, Dr. Tunji Abayomi.
Yeah, sure. Doctor, I greet you, sir.
Thank you. Good morning.
Yeah, just like you said, my name is Promise Abasu, and I'm calling from Owerri in Imo State.
Yes.
I honestly, what I want to say here is that the news is everywhere. And the Chicago State University have, stated categorically that the certificate presented to INEC by the president,
yes,
did not emanate from them.
Yes.
So, but this is the basic truth.
Yes.
Whoever that is alleged must be proven.
Yes.
So let there be, an adequate proof.
Yes.
As Atiku has also gone to Supreme Court, to challenge that.
Yes.
But the Supreme Court should also bear in mind that whichever judgment, they bring out to Nigerians will stand the test of time, and it's going to, be a precedent to future generations. So my advice is that let the right thing be done, no matter who else is guilty. Nobody is more Nigerian than the other. What we are looking at is to make sure that we have a country that we'll be proud of, even when we leave this country and go to another country. It's quite unfortunate that most Nigerians who are outside this country, get a lot of maltreatment and kind of abuse and disrespect simply because you're a Nigerian. So I begin to ask myself, what's an offense for someone who is a Nigerian to stand to get all this? So let our judiciary get it right this time, because Supreme Court is the last hope of the common man. And I believe if that thing is done, Nigeria hope will be restored. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Promise, calling in from Owerri. Appreciate your call.
I think we need to deal with that issue. Maybe there is a need for
yes. Okay.
Sorry. Now, first and foremost, Chicago State University cannot defend under oath a certificate it didn't issue. It can only defend what originated from it in 1979. Now, Tinubu deposed an affidavit that he lost a certificate at a point. In American university, when you lost your certificate, you call it reorder.
Yes.
It is contracted to a different vendor.
A third party, yes, a vendor.
Third party to produce.
Yes.
And that certificate, when it's produced, will be like certificate of today, not like certificate of 1979.
Yes, now.
So you cannot expect Chicago University to say that, to defend or to say that a certificate that didn't emerge, the only certificate that can emerge, I have 3 certificates from American universities. 3. There is another one for moot court advocacy in my law school. Each of those original certificates is given to you. Once you lose that certificate, that is it. You have to find a way to get another certificate. And no university will defend a certificate it did not originally give to any of his graduates. So,
it's simple.
Nigerian University is the same thing too.
It's simple.
Nigerian University will not defend a certificate it didn't originally issue.
Not just a mountain, a whole environment is what they are seeking to make out of
fury,
this.
Signifying nothing.
Nothing. Absolutely
so much
nothing.
out of nothing.
Abed, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Quickly now, Abed.
Good morning, Mr. Yori.
Good morning, sir.
And Dr. Tunji.
Yes. Morning.
Good morning.
Yes.
Atiku has this. What I want to contribute is that Atiku has his right to acquire any information you want to acquire from Tinubu. Maybe I must have got it wrong from his lawyers. But what we voted for in Nigeria, we voted for somebody that we trust. We voted for somebody that we believe that will give us a good governance. So it's free to go to any length, acquire any record you wish to acquire or any information you want to know about Tinubu. But if you're somebody that we trust for now, we need a good governance in Nigeria. So, Dr. Tunji, we don't have problem. I think what I want to do, pursue the record of Tinubu. What matters is that we voted for Tinubu, we trust him, and we have right to give him our mandate. And we have confidence in him.
So what we expected now, just continue to pray for him. We need good governances, and what we expect from him, we should be delivered for. Guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your call as well. Because, well, we now have to wait for the Supreme Court to pronounce on this. Of course, people can't prejudge the Supreme Court, but as I said, even all of those very, very loud critics, very, very loud opposition, and they have a right to be where they are. They know what is likely to happen. And so they now kick up this other argument even before the occurrence, some of them, not all of them, that even the judiciary in Nigeria itself, it is this, it is that. You know, and these are not just vulcanizers, as one other anchor put it. These are not just vulcanizers and tire repairers. These are knowledgeable people. But it now suits you to say that you have no confidence in his lordship, the Chief Justice, and you say that on public television, and you are an officer of the law, officer in the do you people call it the Temple of
Yes, the Temple of Justice.
Or in the Temple of Justice. I don't know what to make of that. Because
that's the Nigerian condition. Unfortunately, Nigerian condition, you know, there is a saying in Yoruba, Kakake kuma jesis, afishawadanu.
Okay, exactly. Essentially, it's sort of a. Well, I think it would translate roughly to sour grapes.
Yes.
Roughly to sour grapes. When you know it can't reach. The grapes are cuckoo sour anyhow. Yes, they are cuckoo sour anyhow. It's not worth our time. And so,
you understand what I mean?
The journey to the Supreme Court is not worth it.
There are two problems of Nigeria. You destroy it if you can't get it. Or if you support it, it must be that you are given money. I'm sure some people will say that defending Tinubu because maybe Tinubu has given me money.
Exactly.
I mean, those who know me will.
Those who dare to. Those who.
I'm not even spoken to Tinubu.
Those who dare to speak to the logic of one side and the illogicality of the other. You need to see the comments, on social media now. You need to see the comments that are heaped on such people, because the only comments acceptable are those of the opposition.
The absurd.
The absurd.
Basically,
you remember,
those that support the absurd.
You remember I referred to Wole Soyinka's madmen and specialists, because what is all of this about?
Can you take all your money to go to Chicago University
because you're
to
looking for
employ a lawyer?
Yes.
There are people that are hungry in this country. There are people you can help. You didn't only spend your money, you forced another person to spend his money. You forced Tinubu to spend his money to defend in a foreign land, defend his graduation from a university.
I've even heard, and maybe we'll come back to that. I heard someone ask on one of the TV shows that, or at least mention, if not ask, that, but wait a minute, if all is well, why is President Tinubu and his team, why are they so much against the release of certain aspects of his papers, his records? Why is he so much? Why doesn't he just say, "Look, let it go"? But I don't want to. Sorry, sir. Yeah. I'll come back to it. Please bear it in mind. Musa, I believe, is it Musa in Kaduna? Did I get that right? Is it Musa in Kaduna waiting to join us?
Yes, sir. You got it right.
Good morning, sir. Please go ahead.
Yeah, sir. Thank you very much for the opportunity, and good morning.
Yes.
I just want to quickly make my point on this issue concerning the responses stakeholders like you have concerning critics like us. I think this is 2023, and it is within our right as Nigerians, as humans anyway, to criticize situations legitimately, right, without bias. Sometimes when you people hear critics say, you just have a certain premonition and think as if maybe the criticism towards party A or party B is not right. Hence, you do not encourage criticism. I don't think it's wrong to allow Nigerians to criticize, even though we're not preempting the outcome of the Supreme Court judgment. No, but it's within our right to criticize. After all, if there was no smoke, there would have been fire. Unfortunately, President Bola Tinubu have seen a loophole that is being challenged. And to your guests here in the studio, please, you should not forget that there was in the deposition situation, the Chicago State University never said they gave a vendor or a third party the right to produce a certificate. So getting that certificate without a third party, as said by CSU, I don't know where the APC and their supporters are coming to back up President Bola Tinubu, but we'll see the outcome of this situation from the Supreme Court. Then we'll proceed there. But we believe in the judgment of the Supreme Court, even though they are human and they will have limitations, but we will see the situation. Because as it is now, the evidence against the president is black and white, is as clear as the daylight concerning his certificate, and he should show an example to we young generations coming up so that we should be right, we should do the things rightly, even though we want to attain any position in this country or any other, but we should do it rightly. Thank you, sir, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Musa. Appreciate your call coming in from Kaduna.
What's the issue?
I think his issue was that he feels our point of view, he doesn't like it as it relates to the opposition. Yet, I think we would be the first to say the opposition has the right to express itself.
They have expressed it,
and they continue to express themselves, and they've gone to the tribunal. Yeah. Now they've even gone to they are on the way to the Supreme Court. Yeah. And all of that is as should be, as Tinubu himself has said. Yes. It should be the case.
Yes, he said if it's against him, go back to his house. There's no problem. Nobody is complaining about that.
Exactly.
And you cannot say because if there is no smoke,
there's something
no fire.
like this.
There can be fire without smoke. If you light paper, there will be fire. There is no smoke. What are you talking about?
So let both sides have their say. It's just that there are those who can't see the logic of what the other side is saying, yeah. And I think that's what is allowing for this.
What did they take? What's the issue? The issue was that he didn't go to Chicago State University.
And that,
we should focus on the issue.
And that forgery.
Yes. That his claim that he went to Chicago University is a fraud. That he forged a certificate that he went to Chicago State University.
So let's stay with that.
That's the issue. The issue is that he didn't go to Chicago State University, and his claim through the representation of the certificate that he went to Chicago State University is a fraud.
Yes.
That's the point.
And so they now, and so they're also now picking up on, okay, that very, very document, yes. I think it is a forgery.
You now want to show through showing the document that the document is a fraud, it's forgery.
It's a forgery.
That what the document represents, that he went to Chicago State University, is false.
So they're not quarreling with his the transcripts. They're not quarreling with his excellent academic record. But they say, Anise.
Yeah, but the issue is now...
The paper authenticating that is a forgery.
Yeah, but here is the issue. Now, that same university, which was founded in 1867, in 1867, and if you understand America, institutional integrity is number one in the life of America. That's why they say that our government will be a government of law and not of men.
Yes.
Now, that state university came out and said, the same man who attended Chicago State University is today the president of Nigeria. They represent that his name is Bola Ahmed Tinubu. They presented under oath, certified, the letter of admission in which he said, Mr. Bola Tinubu. Now you went around and said the female, that is female. But now you are talking of female. How about social security that is in it? Whose social security? Social security in America is your identity. In anything you do, whether it's in the hospital, in the school, in anything.
I can't claim to have seen...
Who has the social security?
I can't claim to have seen every last paper, but I think I heard a presenter on a different station saying that that social security number related to someone else.
But who? You should tell us who it relates to. How can it relate to somebody else? And he will feel it. in America.
So
before you are admitted, they check everything. And the Social Security, somebody else, it will use another person's Social Security to get admission. Of course.
Well,
if that is the case, then that should have been a more central issue in their campaign. How about the address? The address is also there, the residential address, and so on and so forth. Well, you are not talking about all of that. The only thing that preoccupies you is F. As far as you are concerned, because F is there.
Yeah,
you use female.
F is female.
What are we talking about?
Good morning, Tony in Port Harcourt.
I have Social Security number.
Good morning, Mr. Yuri.
Thank you for calling in.
How are you, sir?
Very well, thank you.
I understand this is TVC News, and it belongs to who you know. Dr. Abayomi, he's talking as if he's the judge. Let him be a little bit circumspect, because this is Nigeria's problem.
Yes, but what is the point you wanted to make, Tony?
Excuse, sir.
Well, I mean, please, what is the point you wanted to make? Can you make it quickly, please?
Yeah, I'm making the point. Don't bridge me, because one, it's a public, it's in the public domain, and I'm making the point. Just listen to me, please.
Yes. Go ahead.
The last two callers now told you that Dr. Abayomi is taking sides. He should be a public commentator.
Yes.
Now,
taking sides legitimately.
Atiku made some allegations, or what he got from Chicago State University.
Yes.
That there are things that are not cleared.
Like?
Before the Supreme Court. Now, why are we talking the way we are talking? There are still some things that to be cleared.
Like what?
Like the female in the papers submitted, like the university, the college in Lagos, 70 and 74, and such other matters. You know, we don't just kind of wave it. If we want, let us wait for the Supreme Court to make a pronouncement, and not appearing as if maybe Atiku has killed somebody because he went.
No.
It is within its right.
Thank you very much. Yes, indeed. We couldn't agree with you anymore. Atiku is indeed within his right, and he has exercised that right. But
so what is not clear
what
about F? You put F there. In the same document, you put the Social Security number. You put address. You put a name. Why are you not focusing on all the others? All the other identity, all the other statements, all the other...
Well, you know...
in print, in the document.
It's an old Simon and Garfunkel song.
You must find something.
A man will, a man will determine... He will see what he wants to see and disregard the rest.
That is it.
You know, so it's being done on all sides.
Yes.
If you go to a station that that gentleman just called in from, where it is, I mean, papers have their leanings. Let it be said. Stations have their leanings. So you go to another leaning, you hear nothing but their own point of view. So we are saying that, look, all of this, the court does not consider all these opinions. It doesn't consider this leaning or that leaning.
Yes.
It concentrates on
the law.
On the law. And that is where we are. All of this is not very useful or very helpful. Exactly.
Simple.
It's just that we must talk about it.
Yes.
All of this is of no import, really. What is most important is that we're waiting for just as we waited for the tribunal, and it did hand down its judgment that INEC was in order. Bola Ahmed Tinubu won that election. Pay your certificate of returns. Let's move forward. And you say, wait a minute, I don't agree. Okay, you don't agree, go to the next bus stop. And that's the Supreme Court. We wait again for that. All of this one that we're talking is just that because we have the time to talk about it.
Oh, it's because they raised this issue.
And they raised all the issues.
And we have to deal with them.
And it must
we are not the one that is raising it, so why are you talking about? You didn't raise this issue. You went on television. You went to America. You initiated an action in America against an American university, forced an American university to bring private documents of a former student that is secured under their law as part of the privacy. You force them to bring, and they brought it out. So why were we are talking about it? Because you created, the need for it.
And these are statesmen all, even though someone has objected to using that terminology. But you don't get as high as those people got.
How do you want Tinubu himself to feel? You went to America, you initiated, and you made him waste his money without any just cause.
Well, I suppose Tinubu being a man who, he's been so passionate about his support for the rule of law.
Yes.
So he will do, it's not all of it that will be palatable, but
I wish that money could be spent for the poor people.
He will do that which must be done.
Yes.
And, but again, you come back, and if you notice, we know, it is clear, those who have been calling in, it is clear, and we are very, very welcome. All those voices of opposition, as they themselves has asserted once they got in here, that it is also their right. And we say, before you even said it, sirs, ma'am, we would say it for you. It is your right. Bring it on. But the truth is the truth. And it's not my opinion of the truth or your opinion of the truth. We've been told that the court will adjudicate and make its pronouncement. I think Dr. Abayomi is subject to, because we don't want to go into this matter as as the way social media goes into it. And as someone said, everybody and their dog will comment on this matter. They won't leave it to knowledgeable people who know all about it.
And my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. This is how we spend so much time on issue of drug, spend so much time on issue of Federal Capital Territory.
Look at that.
Yes.
Look at that. That you bring that one back
yes.
up. You need to have seen all the quasi lawyers,
yes.
and all everybody who was commenting that, if you didn't get 25% in the Federal Capital Territory, you cannot become president of this country.
Even if you get 25%, 36 states.
They almost got people believing that.
Yes.
Until the tribunal determined that.
Stop
all that rubbish. Stop all that rubbish.
In this same station, we analyze it that it is not about Federal Capital Territory. It's about the voters in Federal Capital Territory.
We're going to have to leave it there, but I want to thank you for coming along, Dr. Abayomi, to speak to some of these issues. One can't do that much myself, not having any legal training whatsoever. And we've been told that we have to be very, very careful of opinion and just wait on their lordships to determine what indeed is the fact, according to the law in this situation. That's our program. Please join us tomorrow. No, I beg your pardon, on Monday for a fresh edition. I am Yori Volare. Have a great weekend.